Hello and welcome to another video. This one is going to be a quick one on the subdivision retopology tool. It's a very powerful tool and I want to make this like quick video to kind of help you guys understand what it's for and how powerful it is, right? So let's say you have like a scan data or even NURBS that you want to model like a sub D based off of that, right? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to select it, like whatever you're going to like use as a base or like as, something to land on. And then under subdivision, that retopology tool is right here, right? And then it's going to turn pink. And now this little, if I move myself to the left, this little like menu pops up, right? And it kind of tells you like how to sort of work with it, right? And the first thing we're going to do, like just clicking on the model, you see you start getting all these little like points everywhere, right? And so it's really like in the beginning, you're sort of trying to figure out, okay, so like, what am I going to do with this? Like where does it actually like become a face, right? But to actually make it a face, you have to press down shift. And then as you see, it kind of like tries to guess what face you want, right? So when you see the green that you want, you just kind of like keep going and then it makes a subdivision, right? And then obviously that's not enough, right? So let's say you want to add more lines, you press down shift. And then you see, if you kind of like go down the middle, you'll see that another like line is forming, right? And then you click on it, and then there you go. And like let's say you want to like, for example, here you want to kind of like go both like extrude it out, right? You press down shift and you hold this edge, and then you just kind of like extrude everything down, right? Or like let's say I did it for here, right? Something like that. And then I want to extrude both of these. If I hold down shift and middle mouse button, it'll do the whole loop, right? So that way I could like easily like just keep going with this, right? Something like that. And it's an extremely powerful way to sort of like quickly develop a sub D with with an underlying geometry to like help you out, right? And you're not kind of like trying to land on it or anything like that. It does everything automatically. You could also do this on top of previous sub Ds, but there's a little bit of a workaround. So let me open up a sub D model so I could like show you guys how to work around it. And it's basically just converting it to NURBS. All right, so you guys are getting a little bit of a sneak peek into my next sub D video where I show you guys how I'm modeling a car exterior. But let's say that you want to use your sub D that you created to sort of like as a base, right, for a new one. If you use the typical workflow with this and you activate the tool, right, and then it says pick projection target, right? So like we pick that and then we press go and then we press go again to start it. And if I click, the points are getting made, but they're not actually using the sub D as a target. And I think that's more of an error on the Alias side. I'm sure they'll probably fix that later. So a workaround for right now is kind of like what we did with the steering wheel. We gotta like select it, go into surfaces, and then we got convert it into a NURBS, right? And then that and then that makes it so that it's just the NURB model. And then here we could just do the typical stuff, right? And then just like sort of like turn it on. And let me get the control points out of the way. So let me I select it, turn it on, and then I can actually start modeling something, and it's going to be based off the hood like the other way, right? And then another thing I forgot to say to tell you guys is that if you the snapping is automatic here too, right? Like the merging of the vertices, right? So if I kind of like do this and then I don't know, maybe like something like this and then something like this, right? And I wanted to for some reason snap these together, all you do is you grab it and you get it close and like it does it automatically, right? And another thing too is if like let's say you want to you're done with it and you want to sort of keep going with it, like keep using this thing, just select both of them and then activate the tool. And then now this sub D model is you're sort of like back where you started, and you can kind of like keep going and do whatever you want. But yeah, that's how you can use this in a sub D form. I wish that wasn't the case right now, but I'm sure it'll get fixed later. That way you could kind of keep everything in subdivision. I also want to sort of do a little mini stress, and I'm going to stress this out in these like vehicle videos later, that that this is not like, don't negate the this might seem like a solution for all your problems kind of thing, but remember, it's part of the process, and NURB modeling is also a huge part, much bigger part of this whole industry, and also having that super highlight control, right? So I'm hoping that later, with a lot of like the reflections and how it handles the actual like the actual curvature combs of this of the of the model, right? I hope later it's gonna get a little better, but that's not the case right now, and this sort of stuff, like, I know it's hard to tell when you're shading it. It's not really, it won't pass in terms of like once we're talking about manufacturing and all that. But in terms of just quick form development, it's extremely powerful. So, I think my whole point is just don't negate your NURBS, and just think that Sub D is the best, and your answer for everything. But yeah, but it's definitely a good tool, and it's definitely something you should start not focusing on, start developing in the skill set. It's also polygon modeling, so if you really enjoy it, go get yourself Blender and keep going with it. It's a really nice way of like form development. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video.